In this lesson, we will look at different neurotransmitters, 3 different types of neurons, and also the different parts or divisions of the nervous system. As stated in the last lesson, neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that are transmitted throughout the synapse, carrying impulses from one neuron to another. We want an adequate balance or homeostasis of neurotransmitters in the body. Too many or too few of them can alter our behavior and our thought process. The first neurotransmitter that was identified about 100 years ago was acetylcholine, or ACH. Acetylcholine deals with motor movement and memory. We find that people who have a lack of ACH in the body to be associated with Alzheimer's disease. Also, you see a picture of a black widow. The black widow venom increases ACH in the body, causing muscular convulsions or tremors. The second neurotransmitter, serotonin, involves mood and hunger. We find that low levels of serotonin are associated with depression. So if someone has low levels of serotonin, they can take an antidepressant such as Paxil, Prozac, or Zoloft, which will increase serotonin levels in the body and elevate one's mood. An increase in serotonin also reduces hunger. So eating carbohydrates will increase the levels of serotonin in your body. A clinical study has found that consuming small amounts of carbohydrates 20 minutes prior to a meal will decrease one's appetite. The neurotransmitter dopamine is involved in motor movement and attention or alertness. People who have an excess of dopamine in the body have been associated with schizophrenia. People with paranoid schizophrenia have hallucinations and delusions, meaning they see and hear things that other people don't. This is due to that increase in dopamine levels, causing their senses to go into overdrive and be over alert. There are antipsychotic drugs, such as Haldol or Thorazine, that someone with schizophrenia could take, which decrease the level of dopamine in the body, causing the hallucinations and delusions to go away. Many people who suffer from Parkinson's disease have a lack of dopamine in the body, causing the excess in their motor movement and tremors. So there are medications available, such as L-Dopa, that will increase dopamine levels in a patient with Parkinson's and help stop the excess of motor movement or tremors. Endorphins are our body's natural painkillers. These are released in response to painful experiences day to day, such as your shoe being too tight or a paper cut, etc. Opiates or painkillers increase the level of endorphins in the body to deal with more severe pain. When someone uses opiates on a continual basis, the body stops producing endorphins. This causes people to feel miserable, which leads to the addiction of needing more painkillers to feel good. Endorphins also are released during intense exercise, which people often refer to as a runner's high. The function of epinephrine is similar to that of adrenaline. Here you see an increase in cardio output and energy when epinephrine is released. So it increases one's arousal or alertness. Cocaine is a drug that mimics epinephrine. Cocaine will increase the levels of epinephrine in the body, given one that feeling of euphoria. Many individuals with low epinephrine levels suffer from attention deficit disorder. They find it difficult to focus. Therefore, drugs like Ritalin or Adderall will increase epinephrine levels in the body to help one with that problem. As we were looking at the different neurotransmitters, I was talking about medications that can increase or decrease those in the body to get a desired effect. So these drugs and medications can be categorized in 2 different ways, an agonist and an antagonist. Agonist drugs will increase the neurotransmitters in the body. For example, antidepressants, such as Paxil, Prozac, or Zoloft, to name a few, would be an agonist because they're increasing the levels of serotonin in the body to help with depression. An antagonist, on the other hand, will decrease neural firing or decrease neurotransmitters. So, for example, the antipsychotic drugs Haldol or Thorazine would be an antagonist. They decrease the level of dopamine in someone with schizophrenia to reduce the hallucinations and delusions that they are experiencing. There are three different types of neurons that you need to know. First of all, sensory neurons, or afferent neurons. Sensory neurons pick up information from your senses and carry those impulses or information up to the brain. So, for example, if I put my hand on a table and there's something sticky there, okay, a sensory neuron will fire, carrying that impulse to the brain. That information will get to my brain, and I will interpret it. Ooh, that was sticky. Then motor neurons, or efferent neurons, travel from the brain back out to the body, making me react, motor, or move, and perhaps wiping off my hand so it won't be sticky. Interneurons connect sensory and motor neurons in the spine. Interneurons are involved in an innate response or a reflex. So, for example, if a doctor hits your knee, okay, sensory neurons will fire. Those neurons will travel to the spine. An interneuron will pick it up, connect it to a motor neuron, back out, and your leg will move in response to that tap on the knee. This is a reflex. It bypasses the brain. Therefore, it's quicker. It doesn't have to go to the brain for interpretation. This just simply takes place in the spine without thought. When talking about the nervous system, I like to describe it by using a chart or hierarchy going from the most broad to specific. So here you see at the top, first of all, the nervous system has two main divisions. The central nervous system on the right, sometimes referred to as the CNS, consists of two parts. This is easy, the brain and the spine. Therefore, it's called the central nervous system because the brain and the spine are in the center of the body. So the second division of the nervous system involves the peripheral nervous system. So this is your glands, your organs, everything outside of the brain and the spine involved with the nervous system. The peripheral nervous system, or sometimes called the PNS, also has two divisions. To the right, first you see the somatic nervous system. The somatic nervous system involves your voluntary movements, your skeletal muscles, like walking across the room, raising your hand. The second part of the peripheral nervous system would be the autonomic nervous system, which consists of automatic processes dealing with your organs and your glands. So it'd be like heartbeat, digestion, things you don't have to think about. After you eat lunch, you don't have to sit down and say, okay, I want my food to now digest. These things just take place, or the release of hormones from glands. The autonomic nervous system also has two divisions. First division is the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system kicks in when you are experiencing danger or fear or some intense emotion. So let's say you're out walking in the woods and you're all by yourself and hear rustling of the leaves and you see a bear. So now you're scared. Your sympathetic nervous system will kick in. So adrenaline, epinephrine will be released, glucose will go to your muscles. You have an increase in energy, alertness, arousal. Your pupils dilate. Your heart rate increases. Your respiratory rate increases. You start to perspire. So basically, all of your bodily processes are increased. This is your fight or flight response. This is giving you the energy to either stand and fight or get the heck out and run and fight. Two things do decrease in the body during this sympathetic response. First of all, the amount of saliva will decrease. If you've ever given a speech and you're nervous, your sympathetic nervous system is kicked in and Notice your mouth will get dry. Also, digestion slows, and that is good. We don't want to have to stop and use the bathroom if we are running from a bear. After you are removed from that dangerous situation, the parasympathetic nervous system will kick in. And here the body starts to calm down and everything returns to normal. The heart rate slows, the respiratory rate slows. Your level of energy will decrease.